have Mr. Pappas stay up there for a second, just in case you end up with a question. But what I wanted to do as part of the operations update, which we're going to do for you now monthly, different people doing this. Last month, as you know, the architects are actually here and spoke with you. I wanted just to provide you this update and do it publicly so that our community could see as well. Do know that we continue to update the PMS Modernization Project webpage. So it's recently been updated. We also are keeping the Twitter feed from that updated as well, so the community knows where we are with our project. So what you see here is the latest schedule. And this schedule we've received as a result of our work with the architects in the last few weeks. So you see here on May 2nd is when, at this point, things we anticipate we'll get our first schematic design and some cost estimates. Once we get that, we'll be seeking community input. We'll be holding an event where we'll invite all of the community to come in so they're able to give some input as to what they see that they're interested in done with the middle school. On July 25th, we'll get another design development from the architects, and we'll be able to comment on that work that they received to us. And then on October 17th, the first beginnings of the construction documents will be provided to us. There you see January 15th of next year, the pre-final, and as well as the permits and inspections submittal will be at that time. Know that throughout this time period, we are starting to draw down on the funding that the city's provided for the project. So we do pay the architectural firm at different points throughout this project. And then you see there that we'll have the bid documents submitted, advertised for the bid in March, hopefully awarding that contract on around May 12th of 2020. So I think it gives you and the community a sense of how we'll be moving along in the project. So we're continuously moving. Could change slightly as we do move through the project, but I wanted this schedule to be out in front of you. Next, I'd like to, for the community's sake, I know I've been updating you all, but to let everybody know what we've done in the last couple of weeks. It's been a couple of busy weeks for us. Back on March 7th, the architects met with me, Dr. Fox, as well as Mrs. Bunting, to begin discussing the instructional needs of the middle school program. So they would what instructional programs we're running, what those needs are, and how that impacts the facility. On that same day, I took the architects on a tour. We did two of the schools that day. We did the elementary school actually on March 13th. But what they wanted to do was tour the other three buildings, how we use our facilities, and how our instructional programs impact our use of the facilities. So that's why we did those tours. They also on the 7th rather, stayed and attended the instructional showcase. So they actually stayed. That started at 6 o'clock, if I remember correctly. It went till 7:30, and they were there for interacted with our students, not only our middle school students, but also other students, to get a sense of what we're doing. And they actually were very impressed with it. And one of them said, "Wow, I wish that my school." It was a great event, but it really showcased the fact that they really want to get to know our schools as they're doing that design work, and I appreciated that. So on the 13th, the architects took members of the middle school faculty, so a group of teachers, I believe it was 8 teachers, as well as Mrs. Bunting, and then some of us from the school board office, to tour James Blair Middle School, because that's a middle school that they most recently designed. It is up and operating, so it gave us the opportunity to look at some of the spaces that they designed a little differently for instruction that really move towards 21st century instruction. The school folks were with us. They took us around all throughout the building, and great tour. And then we came back to the middle school and spent the afternoon then meeting with the architects to process what we'd seen at the middle school, and so the architects could talking to teachers specifically about the needs that they have for the instruction that they do. And then the architects, at the end of that day, is when we went toward the elementary, and then they came back for a full day on the next day and interviewed individual teachers as well as sometimes pairs of teachers. For example, the band and music teachers together. Also, Mr. Bennett from the high school was part of one of the interviews, talking about what we could do to that building to facilitate the athletic events on the field behind the middle school. So it was a very long day. I believe they were interviewing from 8 block, but a very beneficial day. And right now, they are doing some work on what they call the programming piece of this, so that they really capture what our instructional needs are, and I'll be talking with them shortly about the next steps. They develop those schematic plans for the May 2nd. Very busy, very thorough, but exciting, because teachers at the middle school know we're really doing this, because now they're able to be involved in the planning. So that's our update on this project. And again, I do encourage the community to check out our website, our Twitter feeds, and we'll keep everybody updated as we move through the program.